All right, I'm Steve Hicks. I'm the CTO of Flex Radio Systems at Austin. And you were in the SDR Forum. If you're not in the SDR Forum or you think you're somewhere else, you're probably in the wrong place. So we're going to use the usual format here, which is we're going to have 3 speakers. Each will talk 15 to 20 minutes about a topic related to software-defined radios. And then after that, we ask you to hold your questions until the end, and then we'll have all 3 of them form a panel, and you can ask questions to any of the folks on the panel. Up first is Dave DeCoons, WO2X. He's been a ham since 1983. He's a former Motorola field engineer with 17 years of experience with Motorola, and he's going to start off by talking about the Flex API and station integration.
Good afternoon. Part of what I started doing with the API and station integration kind of morphed into a little bit of Node-RED, and as a necessity, spent 58 days in the hospital over the course of 3 months, and was looking for a way to not only control my radio remotely, but everything else in the station. So bear with me with the presentation here. So Flex API and station integration, more than just CAT. And disadvantages of CAT is a smaller subset of commands available. Kenwood, Yaesu, and ICOM, they're not able to talk to each other natively. And not all equipment supports CAT commands. So you have a rotor controller that has a serial port on it or a USB, it's not going to speak CAT. So advantages of the Flex API, it's an open API. Anybody can write software to it, and the Flex engineering staff is willing to give it support for it. There's a more robust command set that communicate to the radio directly. And it's direct communications to the radio through the network port, and that allows the station to have less mess of cabling. So if you've ever seen some of the Flex stations, they've eliminated all the serial cables and stuff like that. If you're using a full Flex integration station, the API allows the Flex equipment to talk to each other. The radio will talk to the amplifier and the tuner talks to the independent genius all through the network. Ability for third-party software, integration direct to the radio. No need to have serial ports, no need to have a computer to do this. And some examples of this would be Node-RED, which is something that I've been involved with heavily, and FR Stack, Pegasus Plus, and also AC Log are just some examples of some of the software that's talking to the radio through the API.
Could you raise the volume, please?
I'm sorry. This might be better. There you go. Sorry about that. So with the API, you have the ability for third-party software integration direct to the radio through the network. You don't have to have a computer in order for that software to talk to the radio. And as I said, some of the examples of Node-RED, FR Stack, Pegasus Plus, and AC Log, just some of the examples of some of the software that uses the API to talk. The ability to create third-party client software. So if you wanted to write your own software to talk to the radio, you can. Some of the examples are Smart SDR for iOS and Mac, written by Marcus, DL8 MRE, and Dog Park software. Those are just some examples of clients. So if anybody wants to write an Android client and they're so inclined, they can. What I've been doing with Node-RED and the API allows the Node-RED server, which runs on a Raspberry Pi, and that talks directly to the radio through the network. And that allows, again, just lack of all this extra cabling. It's amazing when I redid my station with Node-RED how many extra cables I threw out. Communications to non-Flex equipment via the network, USB or serial connections, also online services, DX clusters, the online logbooks can all be done through the Node-RED server. And again, that allows you to write to that manufacturer's API for the equipment. So if you have a Green Heron RT21 rotor controller, they have a published API for the rotor controller with the list of the commands, and you can write to that, using the API to write to it. And Well, I'm using it right now for monitoring, excuse me, sorry, I'm just in a lot of pain today. I'm using it right now for monitoring and controlling my station remotely, and it comes in real handy. So it allows me to control the radios, the amp, the tuner, the antenna switch, rotor controller, and also for AC power outlets. I can turn on and off. I can access Node-RED from any web browser, any place where I have an internet connection. And the dashboard for it can run on any web browser, again, Windows, Linux, Mac, smartphones, or tablets. And here's an example of my dashboard, how I operate at home. So on top is my Node-RED dashboard, which is in the web browser, and then that smart SDR underneath for the radio. So I have on the left the Flex radio. I have an Elecraft K4 in my system. I started writing the software for K4 through their API, so it's not just Flex. Any radio that publishes an API, you can use that to communicate. So I'm talking to the Elecraft through the network port on the back of the radio. Power Genius amplifier, Tuner Genius, the Antenna Genius, and so I can select antennas. I have it programmed to automatically select when it switches bands. Rotor control, and the map you see there is clickable. If I click on any country on that map, it will automatically turn a rotor there. I've also integrated into an Elgato Stream Deck, and what that device is. I have one here if anybody wants to see it later after the presentation. The Stream Deck is a 15 or 32 button device that plugs into USB into a computer and allows you to have quick access to common commands that you might have. So instead of drilling down through menus to set something, you can just hit a button on the Stream Deck and have that programmed for either a single command or macros. And again, it can talk CAT, it can talk through the native API to the equipment, so it doesn't depend on just CAT. And it helps with operating workflow in a contest, or if you're chasing VX or something, and you want to be able to have a quick, hey, I want to point the antenna at the Caribbean, just hit the button, the rotor turns. So it makes it a lot easier. So it's a quick presentation, and again, what I've been doing with the Node-RED is we have a group now on Groups.io, and probably about 1,400 members worldwide using ASU, ICOM, Kenwood, Elecraft, Flex. So they're using different radios, different amplifiers, anything with a serial USB or network connection, pretty much we can write to it in Node-RED. So that's pretty much my short presentation. Thank you. Yes, if you do a Google search for Node-RED ham radio, those 4 words, Node-RED ham radio, it'll be the first thing in Google search, and it's Groups.io, Node-RED for ham radio.